Hello, Lucifer here. Today's topic will concern what the ancient Greeks used to call gnosis. A seeker after gnosis was called a Gnostic. Not an agnostic, mind you, but a Gnostic. An agnostic would be quite the opposite of a Gnostic.
The word agnostic is Greek for one without knowledge, and Gnostic, the opposite term, is one who knows. Gnosis means knowledge. A person who seeks a path in life must choose between faith and gnosis. They're not identical.
Well, inner knowledge can involve leaps of faith, but leaps of faith do not always involve inner knowledge. This gentleman, for instance, has faith, but he has no knowledge to speak of. Like millions of his fellow believers, his consciousness functions only at the most pedestrian level. In a world of perfectly centered hummingbirds, and wise owls, and razor-sharp hawks, and majestic eagles, I am afraid this esteemed evangelist is little more than a pigeon.
Well, the head pigeon of his flock.
Granted, but you catch my drift.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at a distance from faith. When faith is only about faith, it's just about whistling in the dark as far as I'm concerned. Who and what I am is about inner experiences that have been corroborated by some result or other that satisfies me and leads me deeper into my search.
And that search finds you more comfortable in the neighborhood of pagan belief.
Yeah, and not so comfortable with satanic belief.
And yet there are these shows. There is me, the Lucifer persona, the whole Lucifer tag, as you put it.
Well, the serpent once stood for knowledge, but later the serpent was vilified as being a nasty critter whose knowledge was evil and forbidden. Where has that mentality got us? There was a time when science itself was considered evil and forbidden. Always there will be those who want to put a limit on what a person may be allowed to discover. Always there's a door locked somewhere that someone like me has to learn to pry open. In all this, what better symbol than the serpent? And what more fundamental symbol to salvage from the old misguided myths that have too long made the serpent out to be the source of all that's wrong?
But to take up that symbol is to be misunderstood and despised.
Well, if I'm to be despised, then let people despise me for what I'm genuinely about, rather than the idea that I actually worship a supernatural being that I flatly do not believe exists. For me, Lucifer is a mask of power. It's theater. For that matter, the serpent, to my way of looking at it, isn't necessarily evil. So I'm not about preaching evil for its own sake or a life of wanton depravity. I'm not even a hedonist. Knowledge doesn't last long when your mind and body are diminished by non-stop pleasures. I know that from having experimented with a life of pleasure. It's something I know, not something I merely believe, see. So I do have common sense values. They're just more open-ended than what religious people embalm themselves in.
But it goes deeper than this, does it not? Be honest.
Well, that's another talk for another time. Here and now, suffice to say, the serpent is knowledge, occult knowledge. Knowledge is not really faith. It can involve faith, but knowledge itself is rooted in actual experiences of actual principles and real-time epiphanies.
While some take those epiphanies for granted, most people watching this video have no clue to them. But this is what it is about. Not about a set of beliefs that you hope will be corroborated after you are dead.
Great way to put it. I get a kick out of right-wingers saying I'll go to hell. I mean, if that's all they got, what do they have? We're all supposed to sit around and wait to die to see who's got it right?
You do respect Yeshua, the Christ.
I do. That has nothing to do with laughing off religious wingnuts. Those guys wouldn't have liked the real Jesus any more than they do me. I respect religion when it's about something from the heart. I realize that people need faith to get through the night. I need faith to get through the night. Maybe not as much as some others do, but, we all need it. And I realize the benefit of keeping it simple. Yeshua kept things very simple.
Still, do you not find it tragic that even among the most sincere believers, that their only argument can be belief, never anything else? Indeed, as you point out, one of their major myths speaks of a knowledge that is forbidden. There is that which must never be known. This assumption is simply embedded in any of them, the best and the worst of them. The idea that there exists an insight that must be shunned.
But the more we shun it, the more tempting it becomes.